Okay, just woke up. Gonna make some coffee real quick. Later, I gotta go pick up cameraman Randy, and then we're heading into the studio to do some more filming with Brian Glick, finishing up his half guard instructional today. After that, we take off and we go to do his seminar at Five Stones Jiu-Jitsu, my school in Millbury, Massachusetts. All right, so should be a cool day full of jiu-jitsu.
Un poco.
Level Black sent me a package. They sponsor me for my videos with John, and I use Level Black stuff when I film with John. I've really enjoyed working with them so far. The owners are a super nice guy. The owner's name is Clay. Great guy. Love working with him. It's been a pleasure, and I actually like their equipment a lot. They sent me a care package. Let me see what's in it. If there's any other companies that are interested in sponsoring me in one way or another, hit me up. Oh, sick. I got white rash guard colorway, shorts and rash guard. I got cool hoodie and t-shirt. Alright, so nice thing about working at Fanatics is that sometimes Michael Zenga lets me borrow his M5. What a great boss. If it's rough, it don't matter.
If you're in it, it's not.
Randy's already cracking jokes. I picked up cameraman Randy. Go ahead, Randy. Show him
What's
your
up?
face. We're headed to the studio, and we're gonna pick up Brian. And then after we pick up Brian, we're gonna do some recording, and then we head over to the seminar. But guys, this is the guy who's behind the camera on every single John Danaher instructional. Take a good look at him, because this is the guy that gets you all the good angles. All right, Randy. Remember the name, Randy. Randy, what are we listening to?
PBD. Patrick
Yeah.
Bet David and Andrew Schultz.
Yep, PBD podcast. Randy's a fan. I'm a fan. I love listening to the PBD podcast. See you guys.
Oh shit, it wasn't recording. I'm sorry. I'm buying it. He's smarter than I thought.
Brian called and texted me this morning asking me like if I was on the way, if I was on time. Brian, we've been waiting for you 5 minutes down here, Brian. Why would you call me and ask me if I'm going to be on time if you're going to be sleeping when I get here? What do you think about that, Randy? Does that make any sense to you?
You seem to really be stressing be here as early as you can.
And yet,
That's nice, but...
look at him, finally.
Nice day. We're ready to do it. I got everything I need.
Brian just arrived, and his assistant is going to be putting his stuff in the trunk.
Thank goodness that my assistant's here because I won't be able to.
It's Brian. Brian, thank you for joining us. We're looking forward to filming with you, sir.
Thanks. I'm looking forward to it. All right,
All right, guys, you're getting a behind-the-scenes look at what it's like to do a Fanatics filming. We just got into the studio with Brian, Randy, after wasting a lot of time this morning getting coffee, getting bakery goods. Right? Brian, of course, didn't have any.
How many cinnamon buns did you get blasted out?
Too many. But Brian's, of course, in meditation and fasting. That's why he's so
emaciated looking.
Don't touch me.
I'm sorry. But behind the scenes look at a scene right now. Brian's half guard instructional.
All right, Randy, let's hit it. You ready?
What are we calling it?
The Placido Special.
Is it really?
Is this Bodylock?
Don't fuck around, man.
Don't use curse words, man. We're gonna get blocked.
Don't mess around.
Whatever
Brian.
platform we're working on, we're gonna. Okay. All right. Okay, ready? Okay. So, title of the section is Bodylock. First section is Drawdown. Now we're going to take a look at using the body lock from the side-by-side position. Okay, as we've been talking about, getting up out of the bottom of half guard is one of the most essential skills that you can learn. Working from underneath your partner is critical, but there are always going to be those times where you need to get up, and getting out from underneath your partner, understanding what the dynamics are when you're side-by-side with a partner. Usually it's going to be your tight waist or your single leg, as we'll talk about, and your partner's whizzer. Now, locking your hands, there are a couple of good things about that, right? When you're able to get a good, strong body lock on your partner, you have a lot of control. Anytime in jiu-jitsu, we're able to lock our hands, okay, joining our hands together, it's always much stronger than when we have our two arms and two hands separated. But it does come at a price, though, which is that when your hands are locked, you don't have the ability to base or put your hand on the floor. And so we want to have an awareness of when it's time to play with locked hands and when it's time to put our hand on the floor. So how are we entering the position? Well, it looks a lot like this. Same situation we've been seeing here. We start with an underhook. We're usually working off a lower leg shift. Then we bring our hand down nice and low, build ourselves up to a position where we're side by side with our partner, and then we reclaim this tight waist position. When we're working side by side with our partner, essentially we have two choices. We're either going to be playing in front of our partner or behind them. Okay? We're going to look at the virtues of both of those things. From this situation, because we're playing from a body lock, we want to take our leg out. Okay? If we stay behind our partner's hips and we try to lock our hands from here, it's too easy for your partner to bring their hips across and really make good use of their whizzer by circling you down. So the first consideration is anytime you want a body lock, it makes sense for you to win the battle for the knee position. The way we do that is by starting with a hand on the floor so that we can transition our leg out and then back in front of our partner's knee. Okay, so that's the first thing. The second thing is we want to be able to have our head in good position. The further away from my partner my head is here, the easier it is for him to get his head in a good position. So a lot of times he'll get his head here, okay? He can, like as if we were wrestling, he can put his head here, and now locking my hands is very difficult. He has the ability to drive across, it's no good. So we take our knee, place it here in front of our partner's knee, and then we make sure that our head is right here next to our partner's head. Once we do these two things, now it's time to look to lock our hands. When you lock your hands, you have to always be ready to unlock them. Why? Because as we go to lock, even from an optimal position, you're going to find yourself in situations where your partner can really drive forward. So you always have to be ready to unlock. This is a side-by-side position, especially when we're looking to lock our hands, is a dynamic position. It's not a position where you're simply going to lock your hands and stay here regardless of what happens. You have to be ready to adjust. As Placido drives me forward here, my hand is going to adjust. If he brings his knee in front, we're going to have to do a little jockeying here until we can get the position that we want. All right? So that's just, kind of the first thing to keep in mind is that there's kind of it's a dynamic position. When we go to lock our hands, it's important that the left arm is very deep. Okay, locking with a long front hand or a long right hand is going to turn my body in such a way that it's going to make it very easy for him to tilt us down. Okay? Once we get to here now, we've got all sorts of problems. So we don't want to overcommit with our front hand. Instead, we're going to focus on taking a long rear hand here, as deep as we can get it. Then from here, we can take our right arm and join our two hands and really pull our left arm around the corner. Okay, so this is the ideal. So knee in front, good head position, hand is ready to come back to the floor. When we lock, we're going to focus on lifting our partner and drawing them down in front of us. This is a very simple move, okay, and it can be surprisingly effective as long as your hips and your head are in the right place. When we lock, we're going to use our arms to bring our partner forward. So I'm not trying to pull him into the strength of his arm. I'm not trying to pull him directly across. I'm going to lift his arm up and then turn him around in front. Now from this position, we can continue rotation by lifting our partner a second time and bringing their hand around the corner. Okay, and now you can see from here we land directly in the top position. We've got a good underhook. We can look to cross face and start to pin our partner. Okay, so we'll change our angle slightly. We've come up out of the bottom position. Our legs are entangled, and we lock our hands. We decide that we want to work off of locked hands. So we're going to take our knee out, and we're going to bring it in front of our partner's leg. Then we're going to make sure our head is in good position. This is not going to be always a linear process. Sometimes your partner is going to be bumping you, and you're going to have to make adjustments here and get your leg into a good place. Once you're there, you're ready to lock. Long left arm, shorter right arm, pull everything forward. You'll be surprised at how much force you can generate by lifting your partner up and turning them around the corner. Okay? Once we get to here and our head comes up, it's relatively easy to win the battle. Even as Placido goes to adjust his legs from here, I can continue to turn using the hips, dropping them down, and landing in the top position. Okay, so one more time. We'll look from the opposite side here. So we've come up out of the half guard. We start by planting our hand. You can put your toes on the floor, free your leg, and bring it in front. Next, we're going to reach and make sure our head is in good position. If I ever feel Placido driving me out this way, hand goes to the floor, we readjust. Long rear arm, shorter front arm. Now from here, we focus on lifting and turning to bring our partner in front. Head goes over your partner's shoulder, and now from here you tilt, you drop your hips down, and begin to look to pin your partner from the top position. So this side-by-side position where we're locking our hands once again, it's a dynamic, fluid position. Okay, it's not a position where you can hang out for too long without creating some kind of kazushi or movement. If you try to do that with hands locked, you're often going to find that your partner's strong whizzer results in you getting knocked down. Okay, you can end up on your shoulder. As we'll see, not the end of the world. Okay, we have a lot of things that we can do, even from a position where our shoulder is on the floor. Okay, we've talked a little bit about the outside scoop series, and of course you can always go back to the control of your partner's leg. But the main concept here is that your hands are going to be locked, but you have to be willing to unlock them. Win the battle for front knee position, win the battle for head position, and then circling your partner around the corner, not going to be a very big deal.
All right, guys, hope you enjoyed that little sneak peek into Brian's next instructional. That's his half guard instructional coming out in sometime around June at bjjfanatics.com. As you could see in that small clip, he was teaching a little bit out of the dogfight position, which personally, I love that position, especially to be able to start to teach jiu-jitsu guys wrestling, because it's a position that they can very easily work towards from a more familiar scenario, which, say, for example, is half guard, right?
Yeah.
Is that right, Brian?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, and a lot of people are not familiar, that comfortable with that position. I include myself there. So it is good to be able to play from that kind of side-by-side position and start to understand what the dynamics are of it.
Correct.
It's great for jiu-jitsu.
So if you're a jiu-jitsu guy who's trying to get better at wrestling, keep an eye out for Brian's next instructional. He'll teach you how to get into good wrestling positions from, say, for example, jiu-jitsu positions that people like half guard. All right, guys? See ya. All right, guys, so I know I said earlier that we were going to do a Brian Glick seminar later on today, but the weather here in New England is crazy, so we had to, unfortunately, cancel it.
Randy, how many jackknife tractor trailers did you see?
Last night, 2.
Yeah, between last night
and today,
yeah,
one like totally destroyed right on 146 near my house.
Yeah. So, I think, we appreciate people coming and we want them to come, but we want them to arrive alive.
Yeah.
We want to arrive alive.
Yeah. And if you're not going to arrive alive, make sure you send the payment first. Okay? So, in either case, Brian is definitely more caring than I am, so he didn't care as much about the money, so he decided to cancel it for everybody's safety, and honestly, I think it was a good move. So anyways, stay on the lookout. We'll announce a makeup date for it in the very near future. Like we said, we really wanted to do it, but honestly, circumstances were out of our hands. All right? See you guys in the next one.